Hey all, so the first thing I want to do now that we have these new color swatches created is to make something called a mixed color swatch. And what that's going to do is make, say, a green out of teal and yellow. Right now, if I click on this, this is actually um, this color right here, excuse me. Um, and that's not going to work for spot colors as we discussed in class. So I need to make something that's kind of analogous, but using these specific colors down here through overprinting. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up here to the drop down and click New Mixed Ink Swatch. And then it's going to allow me to select the inks that I want to involve in this particular new mixed ink swatch. I'm going to go with teal and yellow, and I'll call this Riso Green, just so I don't lose track of it. And then the other thing that we mentioned in class but bears repeating here is you don't want 100% ink coverage on both of these channels. The more ink you layer on the page, the more muddy it's going to get, the longer it's going to take to dry, if it ever does. So we're going to shoot for something quite a bit less, actually. We're going to go with 65, and we'll try 50. That's a little more towards the teal, so I'm going to go 50-50. Looks a little washed out, so I'm going to try 60. Maybe we'll bump this up to 55. And let's see. That's getting a lot closer. You can see that this doesn't change a lot when you bump that up dramatically. It's just going to make for a much heavier coverage. So I would top it out at about 60 to maybe 70 depending on. I know there's a lot of professional print places that will only allow you to do 80% over 80% as a max. So just a heads up that sometimes that number will be predetermined for you. So in this case I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to select this type and hit Riso Green. And you can see it swapped out. Now one thing I want to show you, I'm going to undo that and we'll make it a different color just so you can see how it changes. If I click on this text box and I hit Riso Green, it goes away, and that is because I'm not actually affecting the type, I'm affecting the stroke, and when you add that stroke it makes the letters a little bit larger and it extends beyond the text box. So if you click on the text frame and then hit the letter J key, you can see that this switches to the fill of the text, and now when I click that, it'll automatically switch over. So you can do this for really any amount of color. The other final thing that I'll show you is if I wanted to globally get rid of all this black and put it into medium blue, which I may, maybe I want teal for instance, but in any case what I'm going to do is make sure nothing is selected. I'm going to click on black and I'm going to click, oh actually, so I should back up. If one of your colors is a inherent uneditable color, like black, anything in braces is something you can't delete, this won't work. But let's say for instance that I made this type pink again, just so we can see the dramatic shift. Without that selected, if I come up to this swatch and delete it, it will ask what I want to replace it with. And so we could come down here and say that needs to now be medium blue. Anything that was previously cyan, or sorry, excuse me, magenta needs to be medium blue. We'll click OK. And now it's going to swap out any instance of that color for that. So that would be able to, if you set it up correctly, be able to kind of seamlessly swap this into a spot without having to do any real editing for that matter. So in the next video I'll show you how to convert the images and what process we'll need to tackle to get that done.